Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to understand some basics of network so that in the next lectures, we'll try to understand about network namespaces. So before we go there, let us try to understand about IP ranges. How do we represent an IP range? IP, and every IP will be in the form of A dot, B dot, C dot, D, right? So for every octet, we say that A is an octet, B, C, D are octets. So 8 bits will be allocated for each. That means what is the maximum value for A or B or C or D? It is 2 power 8 minus 1, which is 255. So the maximum value of A is 255, B is 255, dot 255 and 255. That's the maximum IP, right? So normally for allocating IPs, we use IPs of a network. We use something called as CIDR. It's a notation. What is CIDR? Full form: classless interdomain routing. Normally, whenever we are creating a network, one network can have multiple sub networks, and in that sub networks, we can have machines to which we allocate IPs. So let us see how we can actually represent a network using CIDR. So for example, I can identify a network like this: 192.168.1.0/24. This is a representation of a network in CIDR notation. So here, what does this /24 represent? That means in this IP, 24 bits are used to identify a network. So this is 8 bits, this will occupy 8 bits, this will occupy 8 bits. That means, so 24 bits will be used for identifying a network. That means the network ID is 192.168.1.0. In the particular networks, there can be multiple machines with multiple IPs. All the IPs within this network will have this first three common. So this machine can have 192.168.1.1. This can have 192.168.1.2, like that. This first three are common because 24 octets are common. So this will have 168, 192.168.1.3 up to 1.255. So that means in this network there can be 255 IPs. Okay. So let us try to understand one more thing. Let's assume that a network is identified by 192.168.0.0/16. What does this mean? First 16 first 16 bits are used for identifying the network. That means these two will be common in this network. Now, under this bigger network, here I can have 255, here I can have 255, right? So 255 into 255, these many number of IPs we can have within this particular network. So in this network, I can have sub networks. So I can identify sub networks using something like a network with 192.168.1.0/24. That means in this network, these three are common. So under this above network, again there can be one more subnetwork 192.168.2.0/24. So like that, we can have multiple subnetworks. The maximum value is 192.168.255.0/24. That means in this bigger network, we can have 255 subnetworks, and in each subnetwork we can have 255 IPs because last 8 digits are allocated for these network IDs. So like that, under one network, we can have multiple sub networks like this. So this is how we represent um, IPs of a particular network. So in my next lecture, we'll start discussion about how two machines can communicate with each other by using something called as switches, routers, etc. Okay, see you in next lecture.